Yo, what's good YouTube? Zampro here, aka Scoot, back with the Pokemon Battle Federation Season 7, week number 3, and we're taking on Noodle, coach of the Toronto Staraptors. I almost had a brain fart for a second. Yeah, we're facing Noodle, coach of the Toronto Staraptors, and he has a pretty scary squad, I would say. He's got Garchomp, which is the Z-move user, Skarmory, Mega Alakazam, Amoonguss, Magnezone, Azumarill, Cresselia, Hitmontop, Politoed, Doublade, and Bibarel. So yeah, pretty scary squad. Has some interesting things that he could definitely bring. He's got Amoonguss, Cresselia, Skarm, and then he's got trapping potential with Magnezone, and then he's got Garchomp and Alakazam, which are two pretty fast cleanup mons that could potentially do work after the stall part of his team puts in their work, is what I was trying to say. So he is 0-2, but both of his matches have been 1-0 losses, and that basically means that his games have been close so far. So him being 0-2 is nowhere near as bad as us being 0-2, where we have a -6 differential and our opponent has a -2 differential. So hopefully we can pick up a win here. We are definitely on the back foot. So our team is Weavile, Tapu Fini, Zapdos, Nidoqueen, Heatran, Serena, Haxorus, Mega Metachan, and the Licky and Palossand, which our Z-move users are Palossand and Haxorus respectively. We've got, okay, so our team this week, our opponent has had like a 100 turn battle last week of pure stall, and he actually ended up, I didn't actually watch it myself, but I think everybody said that the game was ended up tossed or choked away at the end by Noodle. So unfortunate, but I definitely do see this being a long game as well. So I brought sort of a semi-stall team myself, with Weavile being our only offense. You see on screen we have Choice Scarf Weavile with Knockoff, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, and Pursuit. So Choice Scarf Weavile makes sure that I outspeed everything on his team. I think, yeah, everything on his team is outsped. With an adamant nature, I have enough speed to outspeed Choice Scarf Garchomp, which in turn allows me to outspeed all other Choice Scarf potentials and Mega Alakazam, which would normally outpace. So we got the Knockoff, which is good for basically everything, and then the Icicle Crash, which is super solid for Garchomp, and it's better versus Skarmory once he loses his item. It's better versus Hitmontop, etc. We have Ice Shard for priority in case it comes down to that. Maybe, I don't know if it will, but it could, and I want to be prepared for that. And then we have Pursuit, so that if I do reveal Choice Scarf, and he knows I'm Choice Scarfing later in the game, he needs to preserve Mega Alakazam or Garchomp or something like that, I can come in and just click Pursuit and potentially pick them off or get some nice chip on them. So that's really hype. So just running an adamant nature kind of makes up for the fact that we're not running a boosting item, kind of, but not 100%. So he does have Skarmory, Amoonguss, Magnezone, Azu, Cress, Politoed. So we decided to bring our Zapdos as well. We got our expert belt this week with a modest Zapdos with 80 EVs and special attack. Thunderbolt, Heat Wave, Hidden Power, Ice, and Roost was really the only coverage I needed. Heat Wave hits Amoonguss, hits Magnezone. Thunderbolt hits basically everything else outside of Garchomp, which Hidden Power Ice hits pretty solidly. And then Roost for longevity. I got enough speed to, I forgot what I'm outpacing actually. I'm sitting at 281 speed with 180 EVs. That allows me to outpace I know that outpaces like Magnezone, Cresselia, maybe like an Adamant Garchomp maybe. I'm not sure what that investment's for. But yeah, nonetheless, we will outpace okay, we outpace basically everything outside of Garchomp, Mega Alakazam, Max Speed Cresselia, which I don't expect, and maybe like I guess that's it, really. So Thunderbolt bops everything. Heat Wave bops what Thunderbolt doesn't hit, and then Hidden Power Ice is only there for the Garchomp. I guess it hits Amoonguss as well, but Garchomp and Amoonguss, they're not like anywhere near the same mon. And like Heat Wave's obviously going to do more to Amoonguss than Hidden Power Ice, but Hidden Power Ice is a potential OHKO on Garchomp if he's got, running no bulk or anything like that, since it's 4 times effective. And then could have ran extra sensory for Amoonguss, but then I'm walled by Magnezone, so I didn't want that to happen. So Heat Wave was the move of choice, I do believe. And max HP like allows me to take hits from Garchomp. Like I can take a Dragonium Z Outrage after Stealth Rocks as long as he's not like boosted. I can take Psychics from Alakazam as long as I don't get a Spadef drop. He shouldn't be able to 2-hit KO me. Magnezone can never 2-hit KO me unless it sets up. Azu is bopped by the Modest Thunderbolt and can't knock me out with like Choice Banded, Waterfall, or anything like that. However, if he is +6 Azu, then he could be problematic. I don't know if Aqua Jet kills after rocks if he's at +6, but it might. So that's pretty scary. But we have a check to Azu in the form of Serena. So we got leftover Serena here with Queenly Majesty, which blocks Aqua Jet and other priority moves such as like Quick Attack, Sucker Punch, Mach Punch, Shadow Sneak, etc. My opponent does have a Shadow Sneak user. He has a Aqua Jet user, potential Fake Out, Mach Punch users with Sucker Punch, etc. So we got Queenly Majesty here, which blocks all the priority moves. We have U-Turn for momentum. He does have solid switch-ins such as Skarmory, Amoonguss, Magnezone, etc. Doublade that can just switch into Serena and not fear anything. Could potentially bring Doublade as a rapid spin blocker, so I can't spin. And U-Turn allows me to take advantage of those things and puts myself in a position to always keep momentum up. And Drop Kick is also good versus like Azu. If I know he's going to stay in, if he doesn't have another option, then Drop Kick's there to revenge kill the Azu, unless it's Sap Sipper. But I don't expect Sap Sipper. I do expect a Choice Band variant, or potentially a Belly Drum variant. I do think Choice Band is better because he doesn't have to set up and gets immediate power. Whereas if he was a Belly Drum set, he could potentially be roared out. He could be like I have Zapdos, Nidoqueen, and Serena, so it doesn't make sense for him to be a setup variant. He doesn't have many opportunities to set up on me. So yeah, packing the Drop Kick bops the Azu, like I mentioned, bops the Politoed as well, and it gets decent damage off against things like Amoonguss. I mean not Amoonguss, but Mega Alakazam, Cresselia, Hitmontop, etc. The mons that aren't super bulky. And Synthesis for longevity, obviously like Zapdos, Roost, Synthesis, Recovery, all those moves are for longevity to make sure that you can stay around in the game as long as possible. And then Rapid Spin is pretty obvious what it's there for. My opponent has Skarmory, so he could potentially set up Spikes and Stealth Rocks, and that would be a problem. We don't want that to happen. So next up we got Licky Licky, a leftovers variant with Oblivious so that I can't be taunted, and I've got the Wish Protect, so Serena and Zapdos both have recovery options, but my next two mons, Nidoqueen and Heatran, do not, and they appreciate wishes. Zapdos and Serena also appreciate wishes. If, like, say he brings in Azu on my Licky Licky as I clicked Wish, he could set up predicting my Protect. He could click Knock Off and get rid of my item. However, I can just switch out to Serena, take whatever, any one hit, and then get the Wish back, and then be faster than my opponent, block the Aqua Jet, and then force him out or pick up a knockout myself. Got the Ice Beam for Garchomp. I guess it hits Amoonguss as well, but not really there for that. And I got the knockoff for Cress, Mega Alakazam, and just getting rid of items in general, especially things like Doublade, Hitmontop, Amoonguss, things that could have annoying items that makes the game a whole lot longer than what it should be. So we are a SPDF set, so we can take Focus Blast from Mega Alakazam, as long as he's not like Modest, Calm Mind, or something like that. Then we should be able to eat any one hit, or any couple hits really. Garchomp can't knock us out after Stealth Rocks with Dragonium Z, with our HP investment and defensive investment, so that's pretty dope to think about. Potentially catch it off guard with an Ice Beam and get rid of a huge threat early would be really nice. And like I mentioned, this thing likes to pass wishes off to Nidoqueen and Heatran, but Zapdos and Serena also, appreciate a wish. Whatmon doesn't appreciate getting their health back. So yeah, this thing's really nice in the matchup. Takes hits from Magnezone pretty well, and bar like Poison from Sludge Bomb from Amoonguss, it does pretty well versus Amoonguss as well. I said as well a lot there. Also, outside of Serena, I don't really have an answer to Spore. However, I do have, Heatran. I don't expect Amoonguss because I have Heatran, I have Nidoqueen, I have Zapdos, I have Weavile, I have Mega Medicham, so I don't expect Amoonguss, but it could come. So nonetheless, trying to be prepared for that. So here we have a taunting Nidoqueen, which can also prevent Spore from Amoonguss. So like if I come in on a Sludge Wave or something like that, or a Sludge Bomb or whatever it may be, then I can taunt him and prevent him from even throwing off a Spore, so that I don't ever have to switch Serena in to a Spore and potentially get hit with the Sludge Bomb, because that would be problematic for my opponent. Problematic for me and really good for my opponent. So I have my Stealth Rocks, Sludge Wave, Flamethrower, hits his team super effectively, or at least neutrally, and then the taunt there. So Sludge Wave and Flamethrower are boosted by Sheer Force, which really helps versus things like Skarmory. However, Garchomp can pretty much freely come in on me. It has to, I guess, watch out for. I guess there's nothing to watch out for. I don't have the Ice Beam, don't have Earth Power, so I don't have any way to hit Garchomp effectively at all. But like I mentioned, I do have Licky Licky, which can always come in and take any 2 hits as long as he's not Dragonium. And if he is Dragonium, then I can always come in for the revenge kill, or not necessarily a kill, but to put him in range of something like Weavile with Licky Licky's Ice Beam. So back to Nidoqueen, it prevents Volt Switch spam. It can actually taunt Skarmory and prevent Spikes or Stealth Rocks or anything like that. And I guess that's basically it. I thought I packed Toxic on this thing, but I do think I changed it from Toxic to Taunt last minute or whatever. But we do have Toxic on our Heatran. We got a Shuckleberry Heatran here, which is a pretty good lead versus my opponent, potentially. Toxic throws, can catch Cresselia, can catch Azu, can catch Garchomp, all kinds of different things. Lava Plume's there for Skarmory, Amoonguss. Protect is there to scout for things like Focus Blast on Mega Alakazam. Scouts for like Azu, like if I know it's Choice Banded, if I've gauged that damage already and I know he's Choice Banded and he locks himself into a move, and say he predicts my Serena, I click Protect and he actually clicks Play Rough, then I can just stay in and click any move that I want. Or if he does click Waterfall or Liquidation or whatever it may be, I can just switch out to my Serena. Maybe he wants to double, predicting that, but that's okay. I can just U-turn out or hard switch myself. And so the Shuckleberry allows me to live an Earthquake from Garchomp. It also allows me to live Hidden Power Ground from Magnezone. If it wants to try to trap me and eliminate me, I can survive with my Shuckleberry and knock him out with the Lava Plume. I'm very SPDF, but I have a little bit of speed investment so that I can outpace Nidoqueen. I mean, not Nidoqueen, but Azumarill. So my Nidoqueen, Serena, Heatran, Nidoqueen, Serena, Heatran, Nidoqueen, Serena, Heatran, and I think that's it. Are all outpacing the Azu. Licky Licky would have to run max speed to outpace or to speed tie with it, so I'm not even going to try with that. I actually don't mind how slow Licky Licky is. And then, yeah, I guess that's the team. So we can hop into the replay now, I suppose, and see what my opponent has brought. So let's go ahead and hop into that, and we'll be right back. Alright, so here we go with the replay of my opponent. I about said Garchomp and opponent at the same time. My opponent brings the Garchomp, Cresselia, Skarmory, Magnezone, Amoonguss, and the Azu, as we bring our Weavile, Zapdos, Serena, Licky Licky, Nidoqueen, and Heatran, like we showed in the builder a few minutes ago, or a few seconds ago, I should say. So yeah, my opponent brings what looks like some very bulky defense. Actually, it looks like very bulky offense with like Choice Banded Azu, Z Garchomp, and then the 4 middle mons being defensive. Looks like maybe some Hazard Stack, some maybe setup options with Cresselia, some Volt Switch with Magnezone, things like that. Lots of different things my opponent could be bringing here, but it looks to be like bulky offense with some Hazard Stack. That's what I'm seeing here. He does have 2 potential Stealth Rock users in Garchomp and Skarmory, so Garchomp could be a Stealth Rocker while Skarm is a Spiker, and then let like Banded Azu go in or something like that. However, we are pretty adequately prepared. We do have Nidoqueen with Taunt to prevent, spikes from Skarm, Whirlwind, or any kind of weird setup. Heatran's pretty nice with Toxic in this matchup. Toxic Protect is nice. And then Zapdos, being the monster that it is always nice. So we do have ways of winning this match. For sure, we need to weaken Skarmory. We need to weaken Azu. We need to weaken everything. And actually, Choice Scarf Weavile can actually clean up late game, given the chance. If all scenarios are met that we need. I guess scenario is the wrong word. If all the requirements are met, then yeah, Weavile can definitely pick up a victory here. So let's go ahead and hop into the replay. And we're going to choose to lead off with our Heatran. So Heatran covered every lead he could possibly lead outside of Garchomp and Azu, which were his, best, his 2 best offensive mons in this matchup, in my opinion. So seeing him bring out the Azu wasn't like a huge surprise, since like Nidoqueen and Heatran were my only rockers. It makes sense that he leads with Azu to counteract my rockers, prevent me from setting up Stealth Rocks. However, I can just click Protect here, or I can hard switch into Serena. So what I'm going to do is hard switch out into Serena because I don't want my opponent to know that I have Protect yet. I want to bluff my set a little bit longer. And my Stealth Rocks and my Choice Scarf, that I don't want to lock myself into something. And my Specs, what am I? Am I, what's that, Power Herb, Solar Beam? You don't know. So what I'm going to do is hard switch out to Serena. I take a little bit over, around 30% from Liquidation. Reveals Choice Banded, reveals that the Azu is Choice Banded, and so I'm just going to U-turn out. My opponent's likely to switch, and depending on what he brings in, I could have a huge advantage immediately. So he brings in the Amoonguss. I'm just going to U-turn out into Heatran, and what I can do here is start off a Toxic, and so I was hoping to catch his Cresselia, but catching the Azu is just as good. And now that I know he's Choice Banded, I can just stay in and click Protect here. I don't want to lose my Sugar Berry, so I'm going to go into Serena. And I know I can live this hit. And I know I outpace because I'm Skarmory as I synthesize up. And then I go into Heatran as my opponent actually doubles out into the Azu. So my opponent's got the Azu back in. This monster is back, and he wants to claim a life here. However, I can just click protect once again, whittle this thing down a little bit longer. He clicks the liquidation. It gives me a free switch back out into my Serena. I can eat this up. It does 35% this time, so a little bit more than last time. But he's forced out once again as I can synthesize up once again. So now my opponent doubles into Garchomp as I just U-turn out. So U-turn was my best play because I can catch momentum, and I knew I was faster than the Among Us anyway. So he brings in his Garchomp, and I force it out with Weavile. And here I could have clicked knockoff, but I'm actually going to click the Icicle Crash just in case he wanted to stay in and reveal Choice Scarf of his own. However, I was Choice Scarf, so I would have went first. So here he goes for the Iron Head as I hard switch into Nidoqueen. And I'm going to try to get my Stealth Rock up now. And I do just that immediately. And I'm going to hard switch out into a Heatran, predicting the Psychic type attack. But he actually goes for the Shadow Ball, which makes no sense versus the team that I brought. I guess I could look into what like my draft is and see why he would have brought that. But anyway, let's not get off topic. He's got this Azu back in, goes for the liquidation, does nothing to my Serena, and he should die to the poison. And we should have Stealth Rocks up with one mon down, which puts us in a pretty solid position. Our opponent brings in the Magnezone, so we're going to hard switch into our Nidoqueen as he reveals Choice Specs. So with that reveal, we can hard switch into Serena, as our opponent actually, not Serena, Licky Licky. We can hard switch into Licky Licky. Reason being is because we could throw off a Wish, and he's likely to switch out anyway. I could have switched into Heatran there on the Specs Flash Cannon, but like it wouldn't have really gained me anything outside of throwing off a Lava Plume, which Garchomp and Cresselia eat. I guess Heatran was the play I could have made there, but I wanted health back on Nidoqueen. I wanted health back on Heatran as well, so I wanted to go into Nidoqueen first and throw off a Wish. So here he takes Stealth Rock damage, reveals Leftovers. I don't know if he had already revealed Leftovers or not. I'm just going to click knockoff and get rid of an item. And I get rid of the Rocky Helmet on Skarmory, which is actually really nice. Here I'm going to hard switch out into Heatran as he roosts up. So now I can just throw off a pretty free Lava Plume as he switches out. I'm actually going to predict Garchomp to come out and throw off a Toxic, but I catch the Cresselia with it, and I'm fine with that too. And he goes straight for the Shadow Ball as I actually just click Taunt. The reason I click Taunt is I didn't want him to be Lunar Dance. I didn't want him to be Calm Mind. I didn't want him to be anything cheeky that might have caught my team off guard or put him in a solid position. So now I've taunted him, and I have Toxiced him. So now I'm in a pretty solid position. That's how I actually whittled down the Azu so fast, was Toxic and Protect and Rocks Chip and stuff like that. So here I'm going to hard switch into Licky Licky as my opponent hard switches into the Garchomp. I do pack the Ice Beam, so I'm just going to throw off a Wish here. No matter what he did, I can click Ice Beam after the Wish. And here I'm actually going to be able to catch the Wish with my Nidoqueen as my opponent defogs the rocks away. So here I'm just going to set him back up and then taunt, but he actually switches out to his Cresselia again. Gives me a free switch into Licky Licky, gives me a free switch into Heatran. My opponent goes for the Shadow Ball, and I'm immune to that, so it does nothing. And back at a solid position, I can click Knockoff here, I can click Ice Beam here, I can click Wish here and catch a Wish with Heatran maybe, potentially Weavile, whatever it may be. And my opponent's actually going to throw up a Toxic here and reveal that he has Toxic as well, which was probably a given considering his team. And yeah, so here we're finally whittled down, but we catch our Wish with Serena, and now we're able to U-turn out, which gives us momentum as he hard switches into Skarmory, keeping this thing, keeping Cresselia just around long enough. So we're going to go into Zapdos here, and we're going to click Thunderbolt. So Heat Wave into Heat Wave would have probably knocked out Among Us. I'm not sure why I clicked Thunderbolt, to be honest. Maybe in case he went Crest. But yeah. So he forces me out into Licky Licky. I'm already poisoned, so I don't mind to go in this thing. I don't fear Spore. I don't fear Sludge Bomb poisons or anything like that since I'm already poisoned. And just throw off knockoffs, throw off wishes, etc., etc. Get myself in a pretty decent position. I'm going to hard switch out into Nidoqueen here, predicting him to defog or roost. And he does roost, and then hard switches out into Cresselia on my flamethrower. So here I can taunt or I can hard switch out. I'm going to choose to click taunt because I've chosen to click switch out a lot already, and I've prevented him from moonlighting up. So, and then Serena eats the Shadow Ball and can just come in on the Cresselia and then U-turn right back out. And bring my Zapdos back in. Solid position here for Zapdos. I can just click Heat Wave this time, predicting the Amoonguss, but he actually goes out into Magnezone hard, and it's going to drop immediately. And I am modest, so I am going to be able to knock out the Cresselia as well. And now he brings in the Amoonguss, which I can hard switch right back out to Licky Licky, and just continue throwing off wishes and stuff until it becomes, I guess, too boring. Really, there's no reason for me to not click this. My opponent, as you can see in the chat, just popped up on the right, did offer to forfeit. He was going to forfeit, saying that he was going to be 6-0'd anyway, but I didn't know his Garchomp set, so I didn't know if he would actually be 6-0'd. He could have been, Z Sandstorm or anything like that, Swords Dance Z Sandstorm or something like that, and swept me. So I didn't want to let him forfeit and lose the game yet. However, I left it up to him, and he chose to play it out. So here we are. A few turns later, it's getting a little bit stallish, but nothing that we can't handle. And Nidoqueen's going to eventually be able to knock out this Amoonguss. I thought he may preserve this thing and then eliminate at least Nidoqueen, and he does just that, switching out to the Garchomp here on my flamethrower. I can just switch right back out into Licky Licky. He could probably 2-hit KO me from here if he wants to. However, I'm going to double out into Zapdos because I want to preserve differential. I need to preserve differential. I lost in week 1 and week 2, really bad in week 1, and then got hexed out of week 2, but it left me with a -6 differential with only 2 losses. So I definitely wanted to preserve differential as much as possible. And this late game, the plays in the late game here are pretty self-explanatory. I don't have to explain much. I've knocked out the Skarmory. Now I survive a hit from Garchomp and knock it out with the Hidden Power Ice, and I'm going to be able to knock this thing out with the Heat Wave. So picking up a nice 6-0 victory, putting ourselves back at a neutral differential with a 1-2 record now, heading in the right direction. Next week we play Bryn and the Lactinosa Lucarios, who are 2-1. So yeah, another battle next week that's going to be pretty important. Going to need a big win over Bryn as well, and hopefully we can grab that. Good game to Noodle and the Toronto Staraptors. And yeah, really happy that the Blackmont Raikougars can pick up a 6-0 victory here. I owe it to Serena, Zapdos, Licky Licky, Nidoqueen, Heatran. Weavile, you didn't do much, but you were there if we needed you, so happy about that. Let me know what you thought about the prep on both sides of the battle on both sides of the battle. What was the play of the game? Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.